Part 3. Principles of Harmony and Ethics. Chapter 3. The Imperative of Curiosity. The Call to Inquiry. Curiosity is the driving force that compels us to venture beyond the confines of received wisdom and familiar routines. It begins with a simple willingness to acknowledge what we do not know, to embrace the unsettling question marks that hover at the edges of our understanding. In this way, doubt becomes not a weakness, but a powerful engine of growth, propelling us to test assumptions, seek new evidence, and refine our models of reality. By treating every piece of established knowledge as provisional, we open space for genuine discovery and guard against the complacency that stifles innovation. The imperative of curiosity asks us to remain perpetually dissatisfied with surface-level explanations. Rather than seeking quick answers or clinging to comfortable certainties, we learn to cherish the tension of unknowing as fertile ground for insight. Each question we pose, whether it concerns the laws of nature, the workings of human society, or the depths of our own psyche, serves as a compass guiding us toward deeper truths. In this light, curiosity is both a practice and an attitude, a daily discipline that trains the mind to notice anomalies, to probe paradoxes, and to celebrate the unknown as an invitation rather than a threat. Cultivating this lifelong pursuit of knowledge requires deliberate effort. It begins with carving out moments of genuine wonder, pausing to study the pattern of a leaf, to trace the arc of a passing thought, or to linger over a single unsolved problem. By patiently observing the world's subtleties, we accumulate the raw data that fuels meaningful questions. Over time, these moments coalesce into a habitual stance of openness, an ever-alert readiness to let surprise and uncertainty drive our intellectual journey. At its core, the call to inquiry is a moral imperative as much as an intellectual one. In a world awash with information yet starved for deep understanding, the choice to remain curious is a choice to uphold truth over convenience, evidence over dogma. By committing ourselves to perpetual questioning, we safeguard both our personal growth and the collective integrity of human knowledge. Embracing doubt as virtue. Doubt is often portrayed as the enemy of certainty, yet in the realm of true inquiry, it is a vital virtue. To doubt means to recognize that our beliefs, even the most deeply held, are subject to error and revision. This posture of intellectual humility frees us from the tyranny of dogma, allowing ideas to be tested against experience rather than insulated by tradition or authority. In effect, doubt becomes the guardrail that prevents us from straying into blind faith or uncritical acceptance. When scholars doubt the prevailing paradigm, they generate the questions that spark revolutions in understanding. Copernicus doubted that Earth lay at the center of the cosmos. Darwin doubted that species were immutable. Countless others have dared to question the assumptions of their era, and in doing so, have expanded the horizons of possibility. Their example teaches us that adopting a stance of constructive skepticism can yield profound rewards, provided we pair doubt with rigorous methods of investigation. Yet doubt must be balanced by perseverance. The discomfort of uncertainty can tempt us to abandon difficult questions in favor of easy answers. To prevent this, we cultivate resilience, the capacity to press on through ambiguity, to tolerate the stretching of our minds beyond familiar contours. By framing doubt not as an end in itself, but as the beginning of a deeper search for coherence, we transform unease into the fuel that drives our explorations forward. In practical terms, embracing doubt involves routinely auditing our own beliefs, asking, "How do I know this?" and "What evidence would change my mind?" It means inviting critical feedback, soliciting alternative viewpoints, and subjecting our ideas to the crucible of peer review. Through these practices, doubt becomes a disciplined tool, one that polishes our reasoning, sharpens our arguments, and ultimately guides us toward more reliable foundations of knowledge. The Cultivating the Questioning Mind. A questioning mind thrives on habits that reinforce inquiry at every turn. One powerful practice is maintaining a question journal, a dedicated space where we record every genuine why, how, or what if that occurs during our day. Revisiting these entries reveals patterns of interest, highlights recurring puzzles, and often uncovers connections we might otherwise overlook. Over time, the journal becomes both a map of our intellectual curiosities and a springboard for deeper research. Equally important is the practice of interdisciplinary exploration. By stepping beyond our primary fields of expertise, whether physics, literature, or business, we expose ourselves to alternative vocabularies, methods, and worldviews. A biologist reading philosophy may find fresh metaphors to describe organismal networks. An engineer studying art history may discover heuristics for balancing form and function. Such cross-pollination enriches our capacity to generate original questions, since novel combinations often spark the most transformative insights. Structured what-if sessions further fortify the questioning habit. Setting aside regular intervals, be they weekly brainstorming meetings or solo contemplative walks, reminds us to suspend judgment and entertain unlikely scenarios. Pitting divergent ideas against one another in these sessions prevents premature convergence and encourages the mental flexibility required for genuine creativity. In effect, we train our minds to play with possibilities, cultivating the imaginative agility that underlies every breakthrough. Finally, surrounding ourselves with diverse interlocutors strengthens our questioning mindset. Conversations with those who hold differing opinions challenge us to articulate our assumptions clearly, confront gaps in our reasoning, and consider alternative interpretations. By actively seeking out respectful debate, whether in academic circles, professional forums, or social gatherings, we build a rich ecosystem of inquiry that sustains our curiosity and guards against intellectual stagnation. Overcoming barriers to inquiry. Despite its importance, curiosity often faces formidable barriers: the fear of being wrong, the inertia of habit, and the deluge of information that can overwhelm our capacity to focus. To transcend these obstacles, we must adopt deliberate strategies that protect and nurture the questioning spirit. Foremost among these is reframing mistakes as data points rather than failures. When an experiment yields an unexpected result, we learn not to despair, but to probe the anomaly, for it may reveal hidden variables or deeper principles at work. Habitual patterns of thought, those mental ruts that channel us toward familiar conclusions, pose another threat to genuine inquiry. We counteract this by periodically imposing constraints that force us to think differently, exploring a problem backwards, imagining parallel realities, or applying heuristics borrowed from unrelated disciplines. Such deliberate disruptions of routine break the cycle of automatic thinking and open fresh pathways for insight. Information overload presents a third challenge. In an era where data streams are ceaseless, the key is not to consume more, but to consume with intention. We develop personal filters, heuristics that help us discern relevance, prioritize depth over breadth, and resist the siren call of clickbait. By cultivating digital minimalism, we reclaim mental bandwidth for sustained reflection, ensuring our curiosity is not dissipated by ephemeral distractions. Institutional and cultural pressures can also dampen curiosity when conformity is rewarded more than original thought, or when risk-taking is penalized. Addressing these systemic barriers requires leadership that models and incentivizes inquiry, celebrating questions as much as answers. Organizations and communities flourish when they grant individuals the psychological safety to voice doubts, propose radical ideas, and risk failure in service of learning. Ethics of questioning. Curiosity, pursued without ethical reflection, can lead to unintended harm, privacy violations, exploitative research, or the spread of misinformation. The imperative of curiosity therefore carries an equally imperative ethical dimension, a commitment to seek truth responsibly, with regard for its impact on individuals and societies. Every inquiry demands an exam of its potential consequences, weighing the benefits of new knowledge against the dignity and rights of those whom it may affect. Transparency is a cornerstone of ethical questioning. We share our methods, data, and uncertainties openly, allowing others to evaluate, reproduce, or challenge our findings. This openness not only enhances the reliability of our conclusions, but fosters collective accountability, ensuring that curiosity serves the public good rather than narrow interests. In contexts where data involve human subjects, informed consent and confidentiality become non-negotiable safeguards against exploitation. Moreover, the ethics of questioning compels us to prioritize questions of social import. Beyond technical puzzles or marketable insights, we must ask how our investigations address pressing challenges: inequality, environmental degradation, public health, and other existential risks. By aligning our curiosity with the highest moral imperatives, we ensure that the engine of inquiry powers progress not only in knowledge, but in justice and well-being. Finally, we recognize that ethical inquiry is itself an evolving field of study, one that demands ongoing reflection and dialogue. As new technologies emerge and cultural norms shift, our ethical frameworks must adapt, guided by principles of respect, beneficence, and the common good. In this dynamic interplay of curiosity and ethics, we safeguard the transformative power of questioning while honoring our collective responsibility to use knowledge wisely. Rituals for sustaining curiosity. Long-term curiosity thrives on consistent habits that remind us to question the world anew each day. Establishing simple rituals, such as beginning mornings by jotting down a single, unanswered question, dedicating a weekly curiosity hour to explore an unfamiliar topic, or ending evenings by reflecting on one surprising discovery, reinforces our commitment to inquiry. These practices transform curiosity from a sporadic spark into a steady flame, ensuring that no week passes without fresh engagement. Beyond personal routines, designing our physical and digital environments to invite wonder can make all the difference. Placing books and reference sources in prominent places, keeping sketchpads or notebooks within arm's reach, or configuring devices to block distractions during focus blocks creates unobtrusive cues that prompt investigation. In online spaces, subscribing only to thoughtfully curated feeds rather than indiscriminate streams ensures that the information we encounter sparks genuine questions instead of overwhelming us with trivia. Rituals also extend to social interactions. Convening regular question salons with friends or colleagues, informal gatherings dedicated solely to exploring an intriguing idea or phenomenon, fosters collective curiosity. In these settings, the norms shift from delivering polished answers to sharing raw curiosities, half-formed hypotheses, and unexpected observations. Over time, such gatherings build trust and reinforce the message that curiosity is a shared value, not merely an individual pursuit. By weaving these rituals into the fabric of daily life, we create a resilient infrastructure for perpetual inquiry. Curiosity no longer depends on rare moments of inspiration, but becomes a habitual orientation toward the unknown, integral to how we live, work, and relate. Through ethical boundaries in the pursuit of knowledge. Curiosity's power demands ethical guardrails to prevent harm and abuse. As we probe sensitive domains, from personal data to fragile ecosystems, we must weigh our right to know against the rights of others to privacy, autonomy, and dignity. Ethical inquiry begins with asking not only, can we discover this, but also, should we, and how can we minimize harm? When our questions involve human subjects, informed consent is paramount. Participants deserve full awareness of a study's purpose, methods, and potential risks. Similarly, research on communities or cultures requires respect for collective values and norms. By engaging stakeholders in the design and interpretation of our inquiries, we honor their agency and guard against exploitative practices that reduce individuals to mere data points. In contexts where technology enables unprecedented access, such as surveillance, biometric profiling, or algorithmic predictions, the imperative of curiosity must be balanced with robust accountability measures. Transparency about data sources, algorithmic processes, and decision-making criteria helps to ensure that new insights do not become tools of discrimination or manipulation. Whenever possible, open-source methods and peer review cultivate public trust and invite constructive critique. Ultimately, ethical boundaries are not static fences, but living dialogues. As our capabilities evolve, so must our moral frameworks, guided by principles of beneficence, justice, and respect for persons. By embedding ethical reflection into every stage of inquiry, we ensure that the pursuit of knowledge remains aligned with the greater good. Cultivating a culture of inquiry. Organizations and institutions wield immense influence over the fate of curiosity. When schools, companies, and research centers valorize only predefined metrics, test scores, quarterly profits, publication counts, curiosity can wither under the weight of conformity. To counter this, leaders must champion experimentation, tolerate failure, and reward bold questioning. Embedding inquiry into institutional DNA begins with policies that allocate time and resources to exploratory projects, even those without immediate commercial or academic payoff. Grant programs dedicated to unconventional ideas, innovation sabbaticals, allowing staff to pursue personal research, and internal showcases of experimental work all signal that questioning is not only permitted, but celebrated. Such measures break the cycle of risk aversion and cultivate a climate where novel ideas can germinate. Peer dynamics also shape institutional curiosity. When teams model constructive critique, asking, "What if we tried a different approach?" rather than dismissing odd suggestions, they reinforce the norm that good questions matter more than polished answers. Mentorship programs pairing curious novices with seasoned explorers further strengthen this culture, transmitting inquiry skills across generations and departments. By intentionally crafting environments that prize curiosity, institutions transform from static machinery into living ecosystems of learning. In these spaces, the relentless pursuit of knowledge becomes a shared vocation, fueling innovation that transcends silos and reverberates across society. They're nurturing curiosity across the lifespan. Curiosity is not confined to youth. It can and must flourish at every life stage. For children, play and exploration come naturally, but formal education often curtails wonder in favor of rote learning. Reintroducing open-ended projects, interdisciplinary problem-solving, and opportunities for original research at all levels keeps inquisitive spark alive. In adulthood, career pressures and life responsibilities can stifle inquiry. Combating this requires creating points of re-entry, community workshops, online courses, and special interest groups where adults can rekindle curiosity without fear of judgment. Employers can support these efforts by offering learning stipends or flexible schedules for skill-building activities unrelated to immediate job tasks. In later life, curiosity becomes a vital antidote to cognitive stagnation. Elder learning programs, ranging from book clubs to local history projects, encourage seniors to explore new topics, hone digital literacy, and contribute accumulated wisdom back to the community. Intergenerational collaborations, pairing elders and youth on joint inquiries, not only invigorate curiosity on both sides, but also preserve collective memory and forge deep social bonds. By designing curiosity-friendly pathways at every stage, from kindergartens to retirement communities, we ensure that the quest for understanding remains a lifelong adventure rather than a fleeting phase. The legacy of perpetual inquiry. A life steeped in curiosity leaves a legacy far richer than any single achievement. It bequeaths to future generations not only discoveries and innovations, but more importantly, the habit of questioning itself. This meta-level inheritance, the skill of asking incisive questions, of doubting respectfully, and of pursuing answers with integrity, becomes the engine of sustained progress. Mentors, parents, and educators, who embody this legacy model, the stance of perpetual inquiry. They're exemplars, stories of questions that led to breakthroughs, of failures that yielded unexpected insights, offer living proof that curiosity repays the courage to ask. Through mentorship and storytelling, they pass down not only content, but the critical dispositions that fuel discovery: resilience, openness, and ethical responsibility. Communities, too, carry collective memories of inquiry into the future. When societies institutionalize rituals of questioning, public lectures, science fairs, open debates, they signal that asking why and how is a civic virtue essential to cultural vitality. Historical archives, museums, and digital repositories preserve our cumulative questions and answers, offering touchstones for new generations to build upon. Ultimately, the legacy of perpetual inquiry binds us in an unbroken chain of exploration. Each question we ask today becomes the foundation for tomorrow's discoveries, and the ethos of curiosity we nurture shapes the contours of human possibility for centuries to come. Curiosity as the wellspring of creativity. Creative breakthroughs invariably trace back to a curious mind, willing to defy convention. When we ask, "Why must things be this way?" or "What might happen if I invert this assumption?" we ignite the generative spark that yields original solutions. Creativity and curiosity form a feedback loop. Curiosity uncovers new questions, and creativity fashions novel approaches to explore them. To nurture this dynamic, we must guard against premature closure, those moments when an idea feels good enough and curiosity slumbers. Instead, we deliberately extend ideation phases, embracing rapid prototyping and playful experimentation. Sketching, modeling, or role-playing potential scenarios allows us to externalize early thoughts, subject them to scrutiny, and uncover unanticipated connections. These low-stakes trials cultivate the resilience to iterate, pivot, or abandon unfruitful paths without stigma. Cross-disciplinary fertilization further enriches creativity. A staple from one field, a mathematical symmetry, a poetic metaphor, a design heuristic, can be repurposed to solve problems in another. By actively seeking techniques outside our comfort zone and reframing them in new contexts, we amplify curiosity's reach and spark surprising innovations. Ultimately, the marriage of curiosity and creativity transforms obstacles into opportunities. When entrenched challenges meet an inquisitive mindset, unafraid to combine the unexpected, the landscape of possibility expands. Creative acts guided by curiosity do more than produce artifacts. They reshape our understanding of what we thought was possible, catalyzing progress across domains. Empathy's role in deepening inquiry. True curiosity extends beyond internal wonder to genuine interest in others' perspectives and experiences. Empathy, the capacity to understand and share another's feelings, enriches our inquiries by revealing questions we might never have considered on our own. Engaging with people from different backgrounds, cultures, disciplines, life stages uncovers hidden assumptions and widens the scope of our curiosity. Practically, cultivating empathic curiosity involves active listening and open-ended interviewing. Rather than leading with our own agenda, we invite dialogue. Tell me about your experience with, what puzzles you most about, or simply, help me see through your eyes. These questions create safe spaces for honest sharing, surfacing insights that quantitative data alone cannot capture. Empathic inquiry also demands humility. We accept that our initial interpretations may misread another's perspective, and we follow up with clarifying questions. By validating emotions and respecting lived realities, we build trust, a prerequisite for accessing the deeper layers of meaning that drive authentic understanding. In domains ranging from product design to social policy, embedding empathy into curiosity ensures that innovations respond to real human needs and values. When we view problems through others' experiences, our questions become richer, more nuanced, and ultimately more impactful. Empathy, in concert with intellect, steers our curiosity towards solutions that resonate on a profoundly human level. Leadership through questioning. Leaders who prize curiosity inspire cultures of continuous learning. Rather than dispensing ready-made answers, they model thoughtful questioning, probing assumptions, soliciting diverse viewpoints, and encouraging experimentation. This leadership style signals that inquiry is valued as much as execution, empowering teams to surface novel ideas without fear of failure. To lead by example, executives and managers can start meetings by posing strategic, big questions. For instance, what would our customers do if they had no constraints? Or, how might our competitors surprise us next year? These prompts shift the focus from routine operations to forward-looking exploration. Recognizing and rewarding those who ask incisive questions further embeds curiosity into the organizational fabric. Leadership questioning also requires balancing inquiry with decisive action. Endless speculation without implementation breeds analysis paralysis. Effective leaders set clear timeframes for exploration, define success criteria, and then commit to piloting the most promising concepts. By coupling curiosity with disciplined follow-through, they ensure that questioning translates into meaningful progress. In times of uncertainty, market disruption, technological upheaval, societal shifts, leaders who anchor their strategies in curiosity, rather than fixed plans, navigate change with greater agility. Their questioning mindset uncovers emerging trends early and equips organizations to adapt proactively. Thus, curiosity in leadership becomes both a compass and a catalyst for sustainable innovation. Measuring the impact of inquiry. While the value of curiosity is widely acknowledged, quantifying its impact can guide strategic investment in inquiry initiatives. Metrics might include the number of new hypotheses generated, experiments conducted, or interdepartmental collaborations launched. Qualitative indicators, such as employee surveys capturing perceived psychological safety or anecdotal stories of serendipitous discovery, also illuminate the health of a question-driven culture. Evaluating outcomes demands patience. Many questions yield insights only over extended timeframes. Tracking long-term innovation pipelines, inclusive of projects born from curiosity hours, helps connect early inquiry to later breakthroughs. Similarly, monitoring retention and engagement rates can reveal whether a culture of questioning sustains motivation and talent. Data on external impact, new patents filed, products released, process improvements implemented, offers tangible evidence that curiosity pays dividends. Yet measuring inquiry's ripple effects, improved customer satisfaction, enhanced brand reputation, social benefits, captures its broader societal contributions. These comprehensive metrics help organizations and communities justify ongoing support for curiosity-based programs. Ultimately, systematic measurement underscores that curiosity is not an indulgent luxury, but a quantifiable driver of performance, resilience, and collective well-being. By spotlighting inquiry's returns, we ensure it retains pride of place in strategy and resource allocation. The sustaining curiosity in an uncertain world. The modern landscape, characterized by rapid technological change, global complexities, and emergent crises, demands a robust, enduring curiosity. To thrive amid uncertainty, we must institutionalize practices that reinforce question-driven resilience. Regular horizon scanning sessions, in which teams explore weak signals of change, keep us alert to nascent trends. Scenario planning exercises, imagining diverse futures and their implications, stretch our curiosity beyond conventional boundaries. At the personal level, cultivating adaptability through cross-training, learning new skills outside one's core expertise, prepares us to pivot when circumstances shift. Maintaining intellectual white space in our calendars shields time for reflection, preventing relentless busyness from eclipsing curiosity's quiet call. Cultures that emphasize lifelong learning, celebrating not only what individuals know, but also what they still seek to learn, foster collective confidence in navigating ambiguity. By publicly sharing both successful inquiries and instructive failures, We destigmatize the discomfort of not knowing and reinforce the message that curiosity is the ultimate compass in uncharted territory. As we face unprecedented challenges, climate change, technological disruption, social fragmentation, the imperative of curiosity becomes more urgent than ever. Sustained inquiry equips us not only to devise innovative solutions, but to cultivate the collective wisdom needed to steward an uncertain future with courage, creativity, and compassion. Curiosity as a catalyst for resilience. When faced with unexpected disruptions, whether a market crash, a failed experiment, or a personal setback, curiosity empowers us to adapt rather than capitulate. By framing challenges as puzzles to be solved, we channel anxiety into active investigation. Instead of asking, "Why did this fail?" in a self-defeating way, we ask, "What variables shifted?" and "What can this teach me?" This shift in posture transforms obstacles into data-rich opportunities for growth. Resilient inquiry thrives on iterative learning. After each setback, we debrief methodically, cataloging what worked, what fell short, and which assumptions proved faulty. These postmortems are not exercises in blame, but essential feedback loops that refine our mental models. Over time, we accumulate a failure resume, a curated portfolio of aborted paths that paradoxically signals expertise, for it demonstrates both the courage to explore and the wisdom to learn. Curiosity also sustains morale under duress. When teams face unanticipated roadblocks, leaders who encourage speculative brainstorming and small-scale prototyping keep spirits buoyant. By celebrating partial successes, such as surprising insights gleaned even from a failed trial, organizations cultivate a culture of cognitive agility. In such environments, resilience emerges not from stoic endurance alone, but from the collective conviction that every question, however thorny, brings us closer to a robust solution. Thus, curiosity stands as a vital ally in the face of change. It equips us with the mindset and methods to navigate turbulence, converting uncertainty into the raw material of renewal and ensuring that setbacks forge, rather than fracture, our resolve. The navigating complexity with inquisitive systems thinking. Modern challenges, climate change, global supply chains, pandemic responses, cannot be untangled by linear logic alone. They demand systems thinking, an approach that maps interdependencies, feedback loops, and emergent behaviors. Curiosity fuels this perspective by compelling us to trace connections across domains and scales. How does agricultural policy ripple through economic ecosystems? In what ways do urban design choices influence public health? Systems inquiry begins with boundary setting, deciding which variables to include, and then iteratively expanding our scope as new relationships surface. We ask layered questions. What influences this node? What downstream effects arise from altering it? By constructing visual maps, causal loop diagrams, network graphs, we externalize complexity, turning an amorphous tangle into a navigable terrain. These models are not static. They evolve as our curiosity uncovers overlooked linkages, prompting us to refine, simplify, or deepen our representations. Interdisciplinary collaboration is crucial in this work. A public health specialist, an urban planner, and a data scientist each bring distinct curiosities that, when aligned, reveal insights invisible to any one lens. Quarterly, complexity labs, in which diverse experts co-create system maps and scenario exercises, foster the collective curiosity necessary to tame wicked problems. By applying an inquisitive systems mindset, we discover leverage points, small, strategic interventions capable of triggering outsized positive change. Curiosity thus becomes our compass in complexity, guiding us through interwoven challenges toward holistic, sustainable solutions. The curiosity as an ethical compass in emerging technologies. In domains such as artificial intelligence, gene editing, and quantum computing, the pace of innovation often outstrips our ethical frameworks. Curiosity must therefore be coupled with moral discernment, asking not only, "Can we do this?" but "Should we?" and Under what conditions? Probing questions about consent, fairness, unintended consequences, and long-term societal impact serve as ethical guardrails in the turbulent frontier of new technology. To operationalize this ethic of inquiry, multidisciplinary ethics boards convene alongside R&D teams, embedding curiosity-driven debate into every development stage. Ethicists pose hypothetical scenarios. If this algorithm misclassifies at critical moments, who bears responsibility? While technologists respond with technical clarification. Such dialogues preemptively surface moral dilemmas and identify design choices that minimize harm. Regulatory sandboxes offer another venue for balancing curiosity with caution. Within these controlled environments, innovators experiment under real-world conditions, while external observers monitor outcomes. By asking iterative questions, what emergent behaviors arise when autonomous vehicles interact with pedestrians in low-light conditions, we learn to refine rules and protocols before full-scale deployment. In this way, curiosity is not an unchecked license, but a disciplined pursuit aligned with ethical reflection. It transforms speculative wonder into responsible innovation, ensuring that our quest to expand knowledge honors fundamental human rights and shared values. Intergenerational bridges of inquiry. The torch of curiosity transcends age. While youthful minds often brim with unrestrained wonder, older generations carry the tempered wisdom of lived experience. Intergenerational collaboration thus creates a dynamic tapestry of inquiry. Children's bold, "Why is the sky blue?" combines with seniors' historical perspective. How did previous generations explain this phenomenon? Yielding richer, more nuanced questions. Programs that partner schools with retirement communities, or that enlist young technologists to digitize elders' oral histories, foster such bridges. In these exchanges, curiosity flows in both directions. Youth learn context and depth. Seniors gain fresh methods and digital fluency. The intergenerational dialogue models how curiosity evolves across life stages while preserving continuity of collective memory. Mentorship structures further institutionalize this exchange. Seasoned researchers mentor graduate students, demonstrating how to frame questions in light of decades of scholarship, while students share cutting-edge analytical tools in return. This reciprocal curiosity ensures that inquiry remains rooted in foundational principles, even as it embraces novel techniques. By weaving intergenerational threads of curiosity, we build more resilient knowledge networks, ones that honor both the pioneering spirit of youth and the reflective insight of age, sustaining the quest for understanding across the full arc of human life. The collective horizon of curiosity. As Chapter 3 nears its end, we glimpse the vast collective horizon toward which our inquiries propel us. Curiosity, multiplied by millions of minds, forms an immense tapestry of questions and discoveries stretching into the future. Each individual act of questioning contributes a thread, sometimes bold and bright, sometimes subtle, that joins the greater weave of human understanding. At this horizon, the boundary between I wonder and we know blurs. Collaborative platforms, open access repositories, citizen science projects, and global research consortia fuse individual curiosities into shared triumphs. From decoding the human genome to mapping distant galaxies, our collective curiosity has unlocked realms once deemed unreachable. Yet the horizon remains perpetually receding, for the deeper we peer, the more unknowns emerge. Climate resilience, consciousness studies, equitable AI governance, each unfolds as a frontier demanding fresh questions. The legacy we inherit obliges us to sustain the imperative of curiosity, ensuring that future generations inherit not a static body of facts, but a vibrant culture of inquiry. Thus, the true reward of curiosity lies not in any single answer, but in the enduring drive to ask, and to ask again. In that endless chain of wonder, we find our shared purpose: to explore, to learn, and to craft a world shaped by the perpetual pursuit of knowledge and truth. Curiosity in addressing global crises. In an era marked by intertwined global challenges, climate breakdown, pandemics, food insecurity, curiosity becomes our compass for systemic solutions. Rather than applying siloed fixes, we ask integrative questions. How do land use policies intersect with public health outcomes? What combination of traditional agricultural knowledge and precision farming can yield sustenance without ecological collapse? By framing global crises as complex adaptive systems, curiosity drives us to trace cascading effects, how a single intervention in renewable energy might ripple through economic, social, and environmental spheres. Tackling such scale demands transnational collaboration, curiosity-led coalitions, linking indigenous stewards, urban planners, epidemiologists, and data scientists, forge hybrid strategies. Through virtual crisis charrettes, multidisciplinary teams converge to map vulnerabilities and co-design resilient frameworks. Each participant's questions, rooted in local experience and specialized expertise, illuminate blind spots and generate context-sensitive innovations. Moreover, curiosity in crisis response calls for experimental humility. Pilot projects, such as floating wetlands that both filter water and support food production, are monitored rigorously and surprises embraced as new knowledge. When a pandemic emerges, contact tracing methods can be rapidly iterated, guided by on-the-ground feedback. This experimental ethos, fueled by relentless inquiry, underpins adaptive governance capable of learning and evolving in real time. Thus, amid global crises, curiosity transcends academic exercise to become an imperative for survival and flourishing. By persistently asking systems-level questions, probing root causes, unintended consequences, and innovative cross-sectoral remedies, we unlock pathways toward a more equitable and sustainable future. The neurobiology of wonder. Curiosity is not merely a philosophical ideal, but a neurobiological drive rooted in brain circuitry. Functional imaging studies reveal that the act of exploring a novel stimulus lights up the hippocampus, our memory hub, and the ventral tegmental area, our brain's reward center, simultaneously. This coupling of learning and pleasure underlies why each new discovery feels intrinsically gratifying and why persistent inquiry rewires neural pathways, enhancing cognitive flexibility. At the cellular level, curiosity stimulates the release of dopamine, bolstering attention and motivation. This neurochemical cascade primes the cortex to encode new patterns and to form associations across previously unlinked concepts. Over time, individuals who habitually engage in questioning and exploration exhibit increased gray matter density in regions associated with decision-making, creativity, and emotional regulation. In effect, curiosity sculpts the brain, making the mind ever more adept at navigating ambiguity. Understanding this biology has practical implications. Learning environments that support question-driven activities, problem-based learning, research apprenticeships, novelty-rich experiences, literally optimize students' neurochemistry for deeper engagement. Even simple interventions, such as prompting learners to generate their own questions before a lesson, can heighten dopamine responses and improve information retention. By appreciating curiosity's biological underpinnings, we recognize that the thirst for knowledge is as fundamental as hunger or thirst. Embracing wonder not only enriches our subjective experience, but also fortifies the very structure of our minds, equipping us to thrive in a world of perpetual change. Synergy of human and machine inquiry. As artificial intelligence matures, the frontier of curiosity extends into co-creative human-machine ecosystems. AI excels at detecting patterns across massive datasets, genomic sequences, climate records, social media streams, surfacing correlations invisible to unaided intuition. Yet machines lack the broader contextual sensibility that guides human questions, the ethical nuance, the cultural insight, the imaginative leap. Maximizing the synergy demands collaborative workflows, where AI-generated hypotheses become the seeds for human-led exploration. A data scientist might feed an AI model real-time ocean temperature readings, prompting it to suggest anomalous hotspots. A marine biologist then contextualizes those hotspots against ecological knowledge, formulating targeted field studies. In that iterative dance, AI's capacity for scale and speed amplifies human creativity and judgment. Crucially, curiosity in this partnership requires transparency. When an AI proposes a novel correlation, say between urban heat islands and childhood asthma rates, researchers investigate the underlying model logic. This interrogation prevents blind acceptance of black box outputs and ensures that machine curiosity remains tethered to human values and scientific rigor. Looking ahead, curiosity-driven augmentation could democratize discovery. Citizen scientists equipped with AI tools might tackle local environmental challenges. Clinicians might co-investigate rare diseases with predictive algorithms. By weaving human and machine inquisitiveness into joint inquiry networks, we stand to accelerate breakthroughs across disciplines, while preserving the uniquely human spark of wonder that fuels true innovation. Storytelling as a vehicle for curiosity. Curiosity often thrives when framed within compelling narratives. Storytelling, an ancient human art, organizes questions into unfolding plots, drawing listeners into mysteries that beckon for resolution. From parables that probe moral dilemmas to documentary exposés that illuminate hidden injustices, stories activate our empathic curiosity and motivate us to learn more. In education and outreach, narrative scaffolding proves powerful. A physics lesson anchored to the quest for the Higgs boson, told as an epic saga of scientific intrigue, elicits deeper engagement than abstract equations alone. Similarly, community health campaigns that share personal stories of affected individuals catalyze public curiosity, prompting deeper questioning of underlying socio-economic factors and facilitating collaborative problem-solving. Digital platforms amplify storytelling's reach. Interactive documentaries, immersive virtual reality experiences, and narrative-driven games immerse audiences in question-rich worlds. Participants don't passively absorb information. They experiment, make choices, and witness consequences, igniting curiosity to explore alternate paths and uncover hidden layers. By weaving curiosity into story arcs, introducing puzzles, conflicts, and evolving protagonists, we tap into an innate human drive to resolve uncertainty and understand motivations. Storytelling thus becomes a bridge between lived experience and intellectual inquiry, guiding us from initial wonder to sustained research and action. Rethinking education for a curious age. Traditional education models, characterized by standardized testing and rote memorization, struggle to cultivate the deep, self-directed curiosity vital for navigating today's complexity. We need new pedagogies that center on question-led learning, interdisciplinary exploration, and authentic problem-solving. Project-based curricula, where students co-design investigations into real-world challenges, urban sustainability, social justice, digital literacy, immerse learners in cycles of observation, questioning, and experimentation. Educators shift roles from information dispensers to curiosity coaches, guiding students in formulating their own inquiries and in reflecting critically on failed hypotheses as much as on successful ones. Assessment likewise evolves. Instead of narrow quizzes, portfolios document each student's questions, methodologies, and reflective analyses, valorizing the process of discovery over the mere enunciation of correct answers. Peer review and public exhibitions of work foster a community of inquiry where learners both teach and learn from one another. Lifelong learning infrastructures, community labs, makerspaces, online mentorship networks extend this ethos beyond formal schooling. In these hybrid spaces, individuals of all ages collaborate on self-directed projects, share emerging questions, and access micro-credentials that recognize curiosity-driven achievements. By reorienting education around curiosity, embedding wonder into every lesson and autonomy into every assessment. We prepare learners not merely to recall facts, but to grapple with uncertainty, to decode complex systems, and to co-create solutions for an ever-evolving world. This reimagined education becomes the crucible in which the next generation's inventive, resilient curiosity is forged. Reflections. Thus far in Chapter 3, The Imperative of Curiosity, we have constructed a rich framework for understanding curiosity as the foundational engine of all meaningful inquiry. We began by reframing doubt as a virtue, showing how questioning our own assumptions unleashes deeper insight and guards against complacency. From there, we developed concrete practices, mindful observation, question journals, interdisciplinary what-if sessions, and institutional rituals that embed curiosity into daily life and organizational culture alike. We then explored curiosity's ethical dimensions, reminding ourselves that the right to know must be balanced with responsibility toward human rights, privacy, and collective well-being. In parallel, we examined the neurobiology of wonder and the synergy between human and machine inquiry, demonstrating how curiosity shapes our very brains and how AI can amplify, rather than replace, the uniquely human spark of creative questioning. Our journey continued into the realms of resilience and systems thinking, where curiosity empowers us to transform setbacks into learning opportunities and to map complex interdependencies across global crises. We saw how empathy deepens our inquiries, inviting us to listen, connect, and co-create solutions grounded in real human experience. Storytelling emerged as a powerful vehicle for curiosity, structuring our questions into narratives that engage hearts as well as minds. Finally, we reimagined education for a curious age, proposing pedagogies that replace rote memorization with project-based, question-driven learning and lifelong maker communities. By the end of this chapter, we recognize that curiosity is far more than a fleeting trait. It is a cultivated discipline, an ethical compass, and a social imperative. Having mapped its principles, practices, and impacts, we stand equipped to carry curiosity forward as our guiding ethos, ensuring that the quest for knowledge remains vibrant, responsible, and transformative as we face the challenges and opportunities of our ever-evolving world.